I wanna kill, I wanna destroy, I wanna use my energy to fill the void. I shall travel through time to the depths of the mind, power my dreams with destiny divine.
Hi guys, Howzit? Welcome terug allemaal to my Afrikaans-speaking followers. Welcome to everyone else. Fair weather rugby fan, you know where you're at, you know what time it is. Thank you for your continued support of this channel, as obviously it doesn't look like TikTok's going away, but I'm not quite trusting it. So I'm going to go back to reliable YouTube, the crowd that put me where I'm at. I'm sorry, I feel like I ignored a lot of you, but I just kind of found a new avenue, and it was so exciting and new, and not everything gold stays gold forever, as they say. But if you guys saw any of my posts yesterday, it was a question that's been burning at me for a long time here, and we've all seen it. We've all seen the interviews with Mr. Big Jim, doing the interviews with special guests, having them over on Rugby Ass, as I call it. It's not Rugby Pass, it's Rugby Ass. And a lot of other big rugby websites, man, they seem to be glazing big time for the NFL. I mean, it's supposed to be rugby news, but over the last year, we've been inundated with articles about a rugby league player from London. This is a direct quote from ESPN here in the US in regards to Luis Rees-Zammit. They did a whole series of interview. He made it in the league. Luis Rees-Zammit is out. He was cut from the practice squad with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He didn't make it. I'd called it from the beginning. I called it from the get-go. I had a lot of backlash for calling it, and I knew this man was not going to make it in the NFL. And even USA Rugby in itself has been trying in vain for years to try and attach itself to the NFL somehow. We even saw in the last year, Antoine Dupos, that's not a typo, that's what I call him. Antoine Dupos made a trip here to the United States, a perfect opportunity for the so-called European goat of rugby to come in and really promote the sport here. And what did Antoine Dupos do? Yeah, visited the Los Angeles Chargers of the NFL, despite what I've had European fans tell me that, oh, no, that's an NFL team. The biggest name, so-called in rugby, didn't even talk about rugby. He visited the Miami MLS side's training facility to meet Lionel Messi. They share a facility with an American professional rugby side, and there was not a single mention of it. Jim Hamilton, who's been the source of a lot of this, he's a former Scottish international, has done everything but openly tell you to get a Sky Sport NFL package. Every time he's here in the US, he's promoting the NFL. A perfect example. We will pull up the image from his Instagram from just a few days ago. And this really hit home for me personally, because this is a 20-minute drive from my house. This is Jim Hamilton in Texas at the Dallas Cowboys training facility. We are supposed to be hosting the Rugby World Cup in 6 years, and Jim Hamilton is visiting NFL training facilities. Now, for anybody that does follow him on Instagram, yes, the very next post after this had him in a cowboy hat at an Austin Blacks match, at a club rugby match. I guess that was to quell voices like mine in his comment section that are like, hey, thanks, Jim. Thanks for promoting the most valuable sporting league on the planet when the sport that you played is supposed to be holding a World Cup here and can't average more than 3,000 in attendance. Big thanks, Jim. Really appreciate that. So it really comes down to it. I will take the image off here because it does bother me so much. Why do they keep doing that? Even Jim Hamilton, I hate to stick on him. The very next video after all that is an interview with former USA head coach Gary Gold, who's currently with the Bulls in Pretoria, saying, can America make it good in rugby in 5 years? Well, no, we can't if you don't keep glazing for the NFL every time you get a chance. We're supposed to be talking about rugby in America, and you can't stop suckling at the teat of the NFL. And it got me to wondering why. Why is that? Well, like the most obvious answer is money. According to the most recent Forbes 50 most valuable sporting franchises in the world, 6 of the 10 most valuable sporting franchises in the world play in the National Football League. The most valuable sporting franchise in the world was the training facility Jim Hamilton, valued at $10.4 billion, the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, a team that didn't even make the playoffs. And it's not just the value of the teams. The television contracts, the merchandising sales, the ticket sales, everything dwarf anything that rugby has to offer as far as equal. And it's no big secret that rugby is currently going through financial difficulties all around the world. We see the Premiership begging for an injection of foreign cash. We see how South African teams have essentially saved the URC. You see the Melbourne Rebels folding or going into liquidation, administration liquidation. You see the struggles of New Zealand to keep their players at home financially. In a time when rugby is struggling for cash, I can get the idea that they want to attach themselves to the NFL to try and maybe suckle up, get just a little taste of that money. But the fans, they're not coming. I think there's several reasons why, but I think the biggest one is that the sport outside of the United States is looked down upon. National Football League is looked down upon. You'll get comments like, "Oh, you call yourselves the world champions," or "Oh, those guys are sissies because they have to wear all those pads." Well, those pads are part of the equipment of the game. They're looked at as weak by outside audiences, and when American fans, potential American rugby fans, they see that on comment sections. Rugby is a foreign sport in America. There's no base for it here. And it's what they see when they try to go into that community, that they're not welcome because their sport is less than. They keep trying to reach for the NFL. The NFL obliges and gives free promo and player interviews, but offers nothing in return. The numbers haven't gone up, the viewership hasn't gone up, nothing's gone up, and all these ties to the NFL. The only thing that has gone up is the NFL's imprint outside of the United States. And you can thank Rugby Ass and Jim Hamilton for that, because they constantly talk about it. Now, the biggest player in social media right now in the rugby world is Alona Mar. Love her or hate her, she is the biggest name in rugby in America. She never played in the NFL. Why are we not tethering it to that? We could have done it with Perry Baker. Perry Baker played collegiate football, but was a Rugby 7 superstar. Now, I could go into a whole nother video about what I think it's going to take to make rugby big in America, and I will. I will definitely do that, and I've done that in the past. But the fact remains is that rugby's association with the NFL is hardly a two-way street. The NFL is receiving new eyes from rugby, and rugby is receiving nothing. So my question remains, why is rugby trying to attach itself to something it gains nothing from? You guys let me know what you think in the comments section. We'll keep doing videos like this. If there's anything, topics you'd like me to talk about in future videos, let me know. I would love to do them. We're going to get back into doing this. We tried doing the Six Nations on here. It failed miserably. I'll talk a bit about the URC going forward, but really this is honestly an international rugby test channel. I live and breathe for my Springboks, for my Southern Hemisphere teams, and we don't have any of that until the month of July, halfway through the year. And I would love to talk about a lot of things. I've got my buddy Chad out in California. I have brand new audio equipment coming in. We're going to clean up the audio quality, get everything good here. He is going to receive my old setup. I would love to have him on here. He's an American born and raised rugby fan out in California, and I think he has a lot of really, really good ideas as well. And we've had some chats about it already in the past. And I think we're at a precipice here, people. It's 6 years from a Rugby World Cup. We have a domestic league that's not strong at all. We need some help here, and Rugby Ass and Jim Hamilton are not offering that help. So you guys be safe wherever you're at. Thank you guys for watching, and cheers.